Hi guys, Alexi here with another episode of Marketing Evolution podcast webinar series. Today I have Daniel Roberts with me from Securelux. Hey Daniel.
Hey Alexi, how you going?
Yeah, good. Daniel, mate, we've been working together for quite some time and I think you've got a fantastic business, but what's really interesting about your business, I find personally, is more the story behind the whole thing and how it's evolving. Mate, without spoiling it, over to you. Tell us about the business, what you guys do. I think the listeners will be very happy to hear what you got to say.
Okay, yeah, no, definitely. So we're our business is called Securelux. We've been going for 10 years under the Securelux name, but basically we're a three-generation family business. We started with my granddad, and he was doing wrought iron gates, and as they started to look at opportunities, they looked at the Crimsafe product, and that's how my dad got involved in it. So with all the security screens and everything. And when I finished university, I sort of jumped on board, and I was studying business and marketing at the time. So I just thought there was a massive opportunity there to take what they were focusing on, which was the attention to detail when it comes to installation and products and everything, and really get the message out there online. And then along the way, we've had my brother and sister now work here full time, so the whole family's here. We've got cousins, we've got partners, and yeah, so we've built up to have 20 staff, and so now we purely focus on home security. Main product is Crimsafe, but there's actually a lot of different options with the Crimsafe product. But we now look at things like security film for the windows, shutters. It's amazing how busy it can keep you.
It's interesting, the whole security screens type of industry. It's not always about security, but obviously the main drive is. But I think Crimsafe as a brand sort of positions the customer at a certain level. I mean, it's a premium product, and a lot of people buy that specifically for its strength and also for the name and the warranty as well. So that's really awesome. So you service obviously Brisbane, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast areas at the moment?
Yeah, that's right. So we're just starting on the Sunshine Coast, but we've been doing Brisbane, Gold Coast since I've been here. So just looking to expand there as well with some extra sales staff over the next few weeks as well. So
yeah,
exciting times.
Okay. So, I mean, what problems are you actually solving for your customers? I mean, I'm sure you'll have all sorts of inquiries from people. I mean, obviously, the crime and all that sort of thing is just a part of the story. But what problems are you solving for people with your products?
Yeah, so really what we're trying to do is give customers peace of mind when they go home or to their business, that they've got security screens that are going to hold up if they were to be attacked. So there's a lot of typically people will inquire about security screens for either for security reasons, or they'll look at things like airflow, just being able to basically leave the windows open. And we want people to be able to do that. But yeah, we focus on the actual installation side of things so that they've got something that's actually going to stand up if attacked. So
yeah. Well, I guess in my experience, I find that people buy, they don't buy the product, they buy benefits, or they buy the outcome that basically that product generates. And I think, with security screens, it's such an interesting market, and there's all sorts of reasons as to why people buy it. But, potentially, you've got types of customers where people have a break and they want to make sure it doesn't happen again, or there is a preventative measure where people look into it, or people might be looking into enhancing their home or bringing the value of their home up as well. So I guess there's all sorts of scenarios as to when people will be inquiring.
Yeah, and one of the things we've been looking at adapting over the last few weeks, and we've done a email marketing mail out for, is the whole bronze, silver, gold concept. So not everyone's after the top product. Some people are after just a screen for airflow purposes, and we're just trying to work out ways that we can still offer the same service with our installations and everything, but the product just has slight changes and everything like that. But it's amazing how when you put it into that concept of the bronze, silver, gold, how most people will go as either for the gold or the silver. So we haven't actually had too many people inquire about the bronze, but you know, so yeah, it's been interesting seeing the feedback come back from that.
Great. Well, that's awesome. It's great to see that you're always trialing different things, and you know, you're always testing your message and testing your offers as well. So I think that's excellent. I think one of the biggest problems that companies do, they sort of stick to the one model for too long, and then they're just not aware of what else is out there. And if you look at the big organizations and you know, like companies like Coca-Cola or Volkswagen and stuff, they spend millions of dollars every year on advertising, sometimes to realize that whatever they're trying doesn't work. And I think that's really, really important. So trial and error is the only way to find out what the market response is going to be like to the message that you're putting out there. So excellent. So, mate, with all this coronavirus stuff, what's going on with your business, mate? I'm sure there's a few things that will be changing, right?
Oh, definitely. So, you know, when it all started about 5-6 weeks ago, it was important for us to get around to the team and, you know, just let them know not to panic and that, you know, we're going to support them the best way we can, and the best way we can handle it is through open communication with each other. But yeah, the key was not to panic. So we started looking at what, you know, the different scenarios. So, you know, what happens if we can't go out to customers' sites? How does that look? So we started the contactless consultation options. So, you know, we've been able to keep the on-site consultations going, but we've also had some customers that want to start with a phone consult or a video consult. We've been able to look at ways that our management team are able to help our on-site guys as well without having too many staff on-site, because you can, you know, it's now now that there's restrictions. So, you know, we're able to do some live streaming on-site so that both the customer and our staff member are able to contact either myself, Craig, or one of the other managers, and get an answer then and there. So that particularly, we're actually going to keep going. You know, it's going to help us expand into the Sunshine Coast a lot quicker. So that's been a real good find for us. We've looked at integrating Stripe. So we've had a number of payments now come through with Stripe through our Xero process, and also a portal that we've created to help get customers' deposits quick and easy. So, and also allow them to make that payment at night. So that's been a big success. What else have we done? And you know, there's a lot of planning and stuff for additional things that, you know, we've been talking about for years. So you know, we've got a lot of briefing done now for the virtual showroom type concepts, just so that we're able to give customers more information quick and easy. So yeah, it's for us like, you know, it's very hard to explain to a customer the difference between, say, us and another person offering Crimsafe, but there are quite significant differences you know, on different jobs. So we're looking at ways to use video moving forward to get that message across.
That's great. And look, the market's definitely changing. I think the millennials are becoming a lot more decisive with their purchases as well. So yeah, I think the fact that you are trying all these new things is definitely the way to go. What you said about contactless payments and using Stripe and stuff like that, I think that's really, really good, because you know, what I'm finding is a lot of the time people want things right now, you know, and that's the beauty of online stores. For example, people jump online, they can buy products any time of the day. They can buy them at night, morning, weekends, whatever, and they can get the product relatively fast and easy these days. What I think the biggest problem with service industries is that a lot of people still use that old approach of, you know, speaking to a person, sending out a proposal, getting a signature, you know, discussing the terms, waiting for a payment, and the whole thing can just take too long. I'm sure your process have streamlined quite a fair bit, but you know, from a traditional perspective, I think the whole idea of people being able to act on a particular purchase 24 hours hasn't really been applied by a lot of businesses. And I think that there's a huge marketing opportunity for a lot of businesses that are looking to change things or potentially get a better conversion rate when it comes to sales.
Oh, definitely. We've got our own quoting program, but one of the biggest issues has always been the finalizing of it, so the signatures and everything, because we hadn't looked at electronic signatures in the past. So now, because of this, we looked at Zoho Sign, and we've been able to send out contracts so that they're able to sign then and there. And it's amazing how many people have come back within minutes of it being sent to them. Where in the past, we've been waiting. You can wait 2 or 3 weeks from when they verbally went ahead to getting the paperwork to then move forward with the jobs. So yeah, that's another bonus of being forced into evolution.
Great. So with all these processes, I mean, I know a lot of businesses don't apply, electronic signatures, online payments, not because they not because they don't like the idea. A lot of the time they're just afraid and maybe stressed to find out that it may not work for them. I mean, what's been your experience so far? Has it all sort of come to a fruition? Have you learned something, or has it been like a real challenge to apply some of these processes?
I think sometimes you got to be okay with, I guess, failing if it doesn't work. But I mean, the biggest step anyone can take is actually giving it a go. And also not being afraid to ask questions. Like, I don't like the portal we created for our payments. I wouldn't know where to start with it, but it's something that we've discussed for a long time, and we've got your help on that, and that's something now that we can use for a lifetime, just because we, I guess, pulled the trigger on it. A couple of team members actually sort of wondered whether customers would use it, because with Stripe, the fee gets passed on. But it's amazing how customers it hasn't stopped customers from paying. If anything, they're paying quicker. So that hesitation or wondering why something won't work can quite often hold us back, particularly as business owners. And when you have a particular break-even point you've got to reach, but without giving these things a go, you may be missing out on that next sale that gets you to not just break even but to excel. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just giving it a go and asking for help to push forward with these ideas.
Yeah, great. Well, I guess a lot of business owners do rely on their own experience and only, I guess, on the people that they know. And sometimes the real challenge is asking the right question, because people don't know exactly what to ask. I find personally that the only way to, I guess, learn is to, listen to podcasts, read books, and potentially, follow people who have already done something overseas. In particular, I find the US and the UK is obviously far more advanced, as a market in comparison with Australia. Sometimes you look at certain things and go, what the hell? How's this supposed to work? And then you realize, well, what they're doing is actually, the next thing, or the next shift, if you like, that's coming to Australia. Every time there's been, some sort of a recession or, economic turmoil of some sort, there's been new opportunities and new ventures started. I mean, look at the GFC. That's where all the Airbnb and all the Uber things started. And ultimately, it's a great concept, highly leveraged, and those companies don't really hold any real responsibility. It's all just very well focused and centered. I think this particular situation that we're going through right now will also create a lot of huge opportunities in markets. I mean, we live in a very interesting time when we want things right now, and particularly in Australia, everyone's really annoyed with the speed of internet. But we can definitely feel it when a lot of the country is working from home nowadays.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, like, even little things like getting together for those masterminds or networking, and having a few people that you can push ideas to and get their opinions, and also be open to giving your opinion on their what they're doing. I think those little conversations can help give you the confidence to push forward with an idea, or to bottle it up and focus on something else. Because as I'm sure you're aware, Alexi, as entrepreneurs, we can quite often get caught up with one idea that then expands to 10 ideas, that then expands to 50 ideas. And sometimes we need that realignment from others in the same boat to say, no, focus on this now. And that's a great idea. Let's get this going, and then focus on the other ideas that you have.
Yeah. I guess, well, due to my business, we have to keep the finger on the pulse with all the new tools and tactics, and obviously know how to build a strategy out of it. Because the biggest issue for businesses is, there's a new trick that's out, there's a new system that's out, and people jump onto it without really knowing how to use it. There are still a lot of old systems and old approaches that work really, really well as long as you put a strategy to it. Email marketing being one of them. A lot of companies are really just unsure as to how to execute their email marketing and how to leverage the whole thing. But most businesses, if you've been in business for, let's say, over 5 years, you're sitting on a gold mine. There are potentially referral partners or repeat clients that you can easily reach as well. And I think the problem is a lot of the time people overthink the actual processes, and all it really takes is just doing a little bit of research on what works and what doesn't work. But as a bigger picture, I guess it's really important to understand that you got to start with your mindset, you got to change your habits, and then you got to change the circle of people around you as well. Those are the three things that really constitute success, at least in my opinion. Because if you got the right people around you to support what you're doing, or at least give you feedback, honest feedback about what you're thinking of doing, I think you're going to be a lot more successful. And I think particularly in the environment of a family business, it's sometimes a little bit hard because you get a lot of support from your family, but it's also a very safe zone as well. So mate, hat off to you for getting to the level where you guys right now, because I think working with your family is probably one of the hardest things you can do. At the same time, you get the best support in terms of getting things done as well. But when it comes to change, that's a real challenge, mate. So I don't know how you've done it, but you've done well.
I think we're extremely blessed that we all have different, different skills and, different departments to run. So quite often we can, get together and, we're able to, I guess, listen to what that person's saying, the next stage is for their department. So it's worked really well. But at times we have our disagreements, but quite often that's what pushes us forward is, being open to hearing someone else's opinion. And you've got, we've got 4 immediate family members and then partners, cousins. It's just about everyone. The benefit of it is the passion. There's so much, you can hear it on when one of the girls is on the phone to a customer or something. They're just, they're very passionate about what we do. And that's something that sometimes when you're searching for talent, you can't find. So probably helped us a lot.
Yeah. Well, look, we're going to have a lot of business owners listening to this podcast. And mate, I think some of the things you're sharing would be really, really interesting from the perspective of the approach you take, the system you use and so on. What sort of tips or advice would you share with some business owners when it comes to, doing things different, excelling, especially, in times like now with all this coronavirus and market uncertainty?
Yeah, I think particularly if you're looking to grow your business, one of the hardest things when you are the business owner or, you're part of the family that run the business together is getting to a stage where you can delegate responsibilities. So sometimes that's even things like, say 7-8 years ago, I was looking after my own Google account. And, we couldn't have grown if I was still doing that today because I would be focusing a lot of time towards that. So being able to be okay with going, all right, this is going to cost me some money, but I'm able to get my time back, for that to then focus on other things to grow forward. So, I think the importance of delegating and also having that focus on, 2 or 3 things at a time rather than 30, 40 things. I think that's something we've been focusing on a lot more over the sort of the last 8 to 10 weeks. And luckily, through that, we've had a few opportunities that we've been able to implement that have helped us when things could have gone quite easily in the opposite direction, particularly late March when, the customers were dropping off a little bit for a little while. We kept the trigger on the marketing, kept our budget and everything, and we were able to grow to record numbers in April for leads, and even sales were up. So I think we had 90 jobs for the month, when typically we have 80. So we actually had more jobs for the month. So
that's awesome. Well, I think it's all about doing things different to the rest of the market. And the biggest problem I'm seeing is a lot of the businesses, they look at their competitors and they try to mirror them.
Yes.
And I think that's a very dangerous thing to do. First of all, you don't see the full strategy behind what they're doing. And secondly, what's the reason behind doing exactly what they're doing as well when your business is completely different? I mean, what I found with your business is that half of your competitors have put their marketing on hold, which has really opened up a lot of avenues, and other people just haven't really bothered to come up with any new offers or haven't really done anything different. So, I mean, the insanity, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. And unfortunately, a lot of businesses, enter that wheel. And it's exactly for the reasons that you just mentioned. A lot of the time, it's micromanagement and people not valuing their own time. I mean, yes, you can do your own accounting. Yes, you can do your Google Ads and so on and so forth. But hey, are you going to do it good? Are you going to be able to, evolve with the changes in those systems? And then, would it be better if you were spending your time on something else that would actually be generating more money in return? So
Yeah.
in my experience, it's actually been about, growth has been about letting go as opposed to doing more things. And this may sound, probably opposite to what a lot of people are thinking, but you got to really let go of things that are monotonous, or potentially you're not getting the results that that you should be getting. And a lot of the time it really takes a little bit of stepping outside the comfort zone to find out. And it could be an experience where you learn that what you're doing is great, which is excellent, good to find that out. But most of the time you'll find that someone who's a professional in the field will actually do it better than you, and they'll save you a whole ton of time as well. So yeah, mate, that's a really good point.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And also, like you mentioned, with looking at what your competitors are doing and trying to copy, why not, flip that around and be the one that the competitors are chasing? Because it's amazing how often we'll see something on our website on one of our opposition's websites 2 or 3 months later. But one, maybe in the past we would have got annoyed about it, but now we just go, well, in 2 or 3 months' time, we're going to already be well and truly past that point. So just keep focusing on what we want to do and moving forward. And if people want to play chase, then let them do that, but don't be the one to be chasing someone else.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's a really good point. You want to be the leader in your market. And look, a lot of the time when it comes to like mission, vision, and the business, a lot of people set their bar really high and they don't really believe what they said. I mean, you don't have to be like a leading company in Australia straight away. All you need to do is dominate your local market and then grow. And then over time, you'll realize that you'll be the best in the world if you want to, as long as you understand exactly how you're impacting that small client base and then able to replicate that success across the rest of the world or the rest of the country, whatever your goals are. So mate, I think you've done very well, and I think your business is definitely heading in the right direction. Mate, thanks for the time. This has been an excellent podcast. I've been meaning to sort of interview you for quite some time, because I think there's a lot of people who learn a lot from the business. Mate, if anyone wants to get in touch with you or wants to learn more about the business, how would they get in contact with you?
Yeah, I'm happy to give my email address, or I'm on LinkedIn as well. So just send me a message, and happy to have a chat, even if it's about ideas you've got. More than happy to have an open conversation. You and I do it all the time. So yeah, I mean, I'm always keen to grow myself. So if I can help others, I'm sure
Excellent.
it'd be a win-win.
And the website for the business is securelux.com. So guys, if you're listening to it, check it out. securelex.com. So guys, thanks
Sorry? LUX.com.
LUX, there you go. Well, that's my bad spelling kicking in. I'll make sure to put a description on the bottom. Guys, as always, if you're enjoying this podcast, make sure you subscribe. If you're on YouTube, there is a subscribe button right down below here. I'd like to get some feedback. If you've got any questions about this video, or if you've got any questions directly for Daniel, add him on LinkedIn, have a chat, and hopefully, you guys will learn something from talking to him. Daniel, real pleasure. Thanks for the time, mate, and I'll talk to you soon.
No worries. Thanks, Alexi. Thanks, guys.